Elevate your grind live from the Benzinga Capital Conference here in Miami, Florida at the Fontainebleau Hotel. As you can see, the show is still going on live behind us. We have Hooper on the stage right now. And in the studio with us, we have Matt and Sarah from Strategic Tax Planning. Welcome. How are you guys doing?
Morning, Todd. Thank you for having us.
Of course. How's the show going for you guys?
It has been great so far, and we're looking forward to another exciting day today.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, the last time that I saw you guys was at the Alternative Products Expo. Sarah, you were, or no, that was at the ArcView event. Sorry, we've done the show at a few different conferences lately. So one of the reasons I wanted to have you guys on here is, right now, one of the biggest themes in this event right now is the lack of capital coming into the cannabis industry. And it is a problem. Companies are struggling. They're not sure where to get funds from. They're starting to have to operate like real businesses. And it's a congratulations for them, but we have to work on EBITDA and profitability. One of the issues for that is the fact that there are cannabis companies can't access institutional funds. They can't access traditional business loans or anything else. And for the most part, anytime a government program comes out, cannabis companies just assume that they're not part of it. You guys are here to tell us that there is one that they can take advantage of.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. So we're here telling people about the employee retention credit, which is a piece of COVID relief money that came out as part of the CARES Act in the early part of the pandemic. However, because this is a payroll tax credit, we're still able to claim this credit for businesses via amended payroll tax returns, as long, all the way up into 2025, April of 2025, we'll still be able to capture these funds for these cannabis businesses. Yeah. And so, one of the most consistent themes that I've heard the last 24 hours from the business owners that I've spoken with is capital is expensive right now.
Sure is.
Absolutely. And so obviously, certainly for cannabis businesses. So getting a tax refund from the IRS, you're not going to beat those rates. That's absolutely,
no, you're not.
Absolutely true.
That's incredible. So even the companies that already got their PPP loans, which I understand a lot of cannabis companies were not eligible for, they are eligible for these credits.
Yeah, that's correct. So even if you got a PPP loan, which like Todd says, a lot of cannabis businesses were not able to access because of all of the, just all the regulatory environment issues going on. However, even if you got a PPP loan, you can still get the employee retention credit. The one prohibition is that you can't double dip, as the IRS calls it, meaning that you can't claim the ERC on wages that were paid with a forgiven PPP loan. But again, because so many cannabis businesses were locked out of PPP anyway, that's often not an issue.
Yeah. So question about that, when I had a couple of lawyers and accountants come through this show over the past 24 hours, and one of the things that we talked about is business structure, plant touching, not plant touching, S corps, LLCs, etc. Does it matter the business structure that they have set up? Like, if we have someone that is a pure plant touching company and they're licensed, are they also eligible? Because those are the folks that just ignore everything and just assume they're not eligible for anything.
Yeah, that's a really great question. And so, what keeps them away from so many of the other sources of government funding is Section 280E, which so many cannabis business owners are familiar with. Well, what this comes down to is Section 280E is part of the income tax subpart of the Internal Revenue Code, whereas the employee retention credit, this is a payroll tax credit, which is governed by an entirely different part of the Internal Revenue Code. And so this is not subject to any of the Section 280E prohibitions. And so that is what makes this still available to really any cannabis business.
That's incredible, because like I said, we feel like we've been shut out of so many different programs that there's nothing available for us, and these companies are drowning and they can use some help. Do you guys have any kind of success stories or anything else that you can share with us? Just examples of companies that you've helped. You can, change the name to protect the innocent.
Yeah, obviously I can't share taxpayers' names, but I can tell you that we've dealt with a number of dispensaries, a couple of processing facilities, and a couple of growers as well. And some of these businesses have been able to receive ERC refunds from the IRS in the seven figures. Wow. Pretty profound.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That is incredible. Now, are there any stipulations on how this money has to be used? Like the PPE loan, obviously, PPP had to be used for payroll. Do they have to use it specifically for payroll? Can it be used for operating costs?
Oh, no, it's absolutely any way they want to use it. It becomes an income to them. So they can build a pool in their backyard, or they can put it reinvested into their business.
We finally have
it
the
goes
federal
to the business
owners. Drug dealers. This is absolutely incredible thing.
It's about time.
The world is their oyster.
Beautiful. What kind of conversations have you guys been having here at the event? Do you get a lot of pushback? Like, oh, there's no way my company's not eligible. We've tried that before. Because it does sound like one of those things that's too good to be true, especially because the money is coming from the government. Let's be honest, they don't give out money very easily?
Yeah, great question. So, a lot of what I'm running into is, so there is a lot of fraud in this space, like there was with PPP loans. And so there have been some bad actors that have run into this space and have been filing some really aggressive claims for businesses. And so I have been getting some pushback saying, oh, there's no way I'm eligible. I've been in a lot of skepticism. What I'll say is, take a look into it. Let us take a look at it for you. There are a lot of bad actors filing really aggressive claims, but the fact is that there are a lot of business owners out there that still don't realize that they are eligible for the credit.
That's incredible. And what does that process look like when someone reaches out to you? What do they have to provide? What should they be prepared with?
Yep. So generally we get some information first on any PPP loans that were received by the businesses, if they did receive loans. Then we get some information on top line revenue, gross receipts from 2019 through 2021. One of the tests for eligibility for the credit is having shown a sharp decline in gross receipts, but not necessary to have shown a sharp decline or even any decline in gross receipts to be eligible for this credit. The other way a business can be eligible is based on having had to modify their operations because of some sort of government order. So that's information that our team pulls together. But again, we would request some information on PPP loans, P&Ls, and then we get some quarterly wage reports for 2020 and 2021. Takes us a couple of weeks to put together an estimate of how much credit is available to the business, at which point we can set up a call, deliver our findings, and quote a fixed fee for our services to get that money.
Very cool. Well, it's awesome to hear that there is a program for cannabis companies. They sure need money now more than ever. So if somebody wanted to work with you, where can they find you guys?
And sarah.saba@smartertaxplanning.com. And also there is no upfront fee.
Cool.
So if they are, that flat fee is quoted, and then until the IRS processes their claim, it's the payment is deferred. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So can you do the email address one more time?
Sarah, SARA.SABA@smartertaxplanning.com.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thanks so much for having us, Todd. Really
Thanks,
good.